paper and journal articles. Okay, so these are some of the questions that I've received over the past few days. Okay, I think some students are confused between research paper and journal articles. Some have identified journal articles wrongly, so I'm here to clarify. And some of the sections, they are puzzled why some of the sections have different things, okay, and different names, and some of the sections they are not there. So okay, so today I've created this slide here so to answer some of the commonly asked questions and confusion. Okay, so today's topic is research paper versus journal articles. How are they different and how to identify them? All right, so first of all, I have to tell you that journal article structures may differ, like what I said earlier. All right, different people have different style of writing, different ways of categorizing things. That is why, if you can see, we have different format for every single journal article. Okay, they may have different subsection names, okay, but they may mean the same thing. They may incorporate and combine certain things together. Okay, they may be separating them. Okay, so let me just show you an example, like I said earlier. Okay, like this one here, this is a journal article. This is also a journal article. Okay, if you look at it, it has abstract. Okay, in method, if you can see here, method, and then result, and then discussion. Okay, but no conclusion. So it doesn't typically follow the typical format. Okay, let's look at another journal article. It has abstract, introduction, effects of unauthorized internet usage, okay, Saudi model, reproducing the model for the workplace, and conclusion. Okay, can you see even these two are actually research journal articles, but they have different formats. Okay, so like I said earlier, okay, journal articles may differ from one to another. Okay, so let's look at the differences now. Okay, generally they will have abstract. Okay, then they will introduction. Okay, some of students, they are confused about this subsections. So the abstract is actually an overall summary of the entire paper. In the introduction, it normally states the aim, purpose, or intention. So this is actually the main idea that you should be getting out of the introduction. And then the next one, we have literature review. It is about past studies and general themes. And sometimes, they may sometimes fall under introduction. It is it's not separated like this one here. Okay, it actually separates it, okay, and put it under the literature review subsection. Certain papers, they don't do that. All right, and then we go to methodology. Okay, the methodology states the participants, the measure, and the procedure. Okay, sometimes this methodology, they call it method. Okay, so this is the third section. Okay, then we have results. Okay, the next section is results, but sometimes they are known as well. So different literature, they name sections differently. Okay, and it refers to the outcome of the study after analyzing the data collected. So this one, the definition that I put here, right? It is actually the main idea that you should be taking out. Like for introduction, you should be taking out the purpose, the intent, or the aim. The literature review, you should be taking out the past studies, the general themes. Method, you should be taking out the participants, measures, and the procedure. For results, you should be taking out the outcome of the study. All right. And then we have discussion. It discusses the findings and results of the study. Okay, sometimes it's there independently, while sometimes it falls under the results, finding, or conclusion section. So you read properly to identify it. So discussion, sometimes they incorporate it under certain section. Sometimes it is there, so you need to read carefully. Okay, and then the next section is conclusion. Okay, it summarizes the key points of the study. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. The same with implication, limitations, and recommendations. Implications, limitations, and recommendations. A lot of students are confused what these things are. Okay, so implications are basically who or what are implicated by this study, who will be implicated by what researchers what future studies how does this affect future studies? Okay, so this is implication. These are implications. Who and what and how will it implicate? Okay, and then we have limitations to talk about the disadvantages and the shortcomings of the study. Okay, recommendations. What does the researcher recommend the future researchers to focus on? Recommend them to maybe focus on Asian students or focus on Western students. So recommendations by the researcher so that future researcher can focus in their future studies. Okay, so again, implication, limitation, and recommendation may not be there or incorporated under conclusion. Okay, sometimes it's a different section, sometimes it's incorporated. So you need to understand what each section is to actually identify them. If you don't know what each section means, you cannot identify them. Okay, and finally, okay, so this is the structure of the journal article. Like I said, it may differ. Different journal articles have different structure. Okay, right. So research paper or proceeding or you know, things that you find in the internet, conference paper, proceeding, research paper, they will follow this format with very little variation. They have abstract, introduction, literature review, methodology, findings, conclusion, and reference. This format is also the research paper that you'll be writing. Your research paper that you'll be writing will follow this exact format. Okay, it will follow this format but with very little variation. If you go and look for research paper or proceeding, then you will see. Okay, I will show you one. Okay, this is a research paper. Okay, can you see it's from it is impacts of students part-time on academic performance, abstract, introduction, okay, then review literatures. See, very little variation. It's called literature review, right? But this one calls it review of literature. Then research methodology. And then we have then results and discussions. Okay. Then we have conclusion and recommendation. Then we have references. So this is a research paper, but it's not a very good one. If you can see, its format, its structure is also different. This one is not bolded. The ones on top, you see, it's bolded. So there's no consistency. So we know that this paper is not very good. Okay. So how to identify journal articles? Another big question here. A lot of students, they don't know how to identify journal articles. So let me just clarify that with you. Journal articles are published versions of research papers. They are published versions. Okay, research papers are not published. Can you see this one here is not published? Okay, it's not published. So there are few telltale signs to identify journal articles. First of all, it must be published by a journal. For example, Journal of Learning Disabilities. You can see it here. It's published by Journal of Learning Disabilities. This one here is published by the International Journal of Business, Humanities and Technology. Okay. Then there will be volume, issue, or even page number. Okay. So as you can see, volume, number, and then got page number 142. Can you see? This one here as well. Got volume, issue, and page number 146 to 158. Okay. So you need to actually be able to identify all these things in order to classify them as journal articles. Then sometimes they may have DOI, sometimes they may not. Okay, so this is the DOI here. Okay, and then year it was published. Okay, 2015. Okay, so there are a few things to actually identify journal articles. Okay, I repeat, the first one, it must be published by a journal. There must be volume, issue, and page number. There must be DOI, and there must be a year that it was published. Okay, so this is an example, and this is an example of research paper earlier that I showed you. Okay, this is an example. This is not published. Can you see? You don't see where it's published. There's no DOI, there's no issue number, there's no volume number. Okay, and you don't know where it was published. So this is not published. Okay, this is just a research paper. Journal articles are published version of research papers. They are proofread, vetted, edited to perfection. Okay. So this one here is not. All right. Sure, do we have to include the volume number in our research paper or only where it was, where it's published? Okay, this one here, you need to go check back APA citation. Okay, then you will know what you need. Okay, the lesson is here. You can go and check back. Sure, what is... Okay, Zhenping. Different journals have different names again. Sometimes they may call Journal of Learning names, but sometimes they have different names. But make sure you identify all the few things. It was published, there's volume number, there's page number, then you know it's a published journal article. And of course, one of the telltale sign will be, it has the name article. It has the name article on top. Sometimes the telltale signs. Okay, but sometimes they may not also, but these are some of the things that you need to look for when you look for a journal article. Okay, this comes with experience. If you have read many articles before, you will know what I'm talking about. So you need to read a lot.